basic setup ideas. I'm going to talk some basic setup ideas, Dan.
Okay.
Like that. We're going to talk shoulder tilts. So chest, upper body, shoulder tilts, whatever you want to call it. So if you think about it, just basicness to start. If I'm going to hold the club as a right-handed golfer, my right hand is lower than my left on the club. So unless I've got one arm longer than the other, there has to be some tilt in there.
Yeah.
So right shoulder lower than left. Okay?
Yeah.
That's going to be your default setting. Now that's coming from if the club, if you stay there, well that's it, is in the middle of you. Because obviously if I put the club up here and do the same, it's going to be more tilt. Because I'm having to reach that hand not only down but then forward as well.
Correct, yeah.
So if you're going to then move ball positions around, you'll see some exaggerations. It might be tiny, but you might see some. Then I'll use the shoulder tilt to try and help me influence path. A little bit of angle of attack, but definitely path, and then in turn if my path changes, my face will change. So in effect, I'm going to use shoulder tilts, chest tilt, upper body movement at address to encourage different shapes of shots. So my iron play at the moment feels most consistent when I absolutely have no leftness to it. So it feels like I hit it straight to a slight fade. It allows me to go on our trips and not think. As long as I know that shot's coming out, I can just stand there, aim straight or up the left, and I'm going to hit a decent amount of greens. And the way I'm doing that, and we can reverse this to the viewers at home, is I've got ball maybe half a ball further forward in my stance than I normally would have it.
Yeah.
So then in turn, like I said at the earlier, in effect that should make me tilt even more with my shoulders, but what I do is I try and tilt less. I feel like my shoulders are almost level. So as an exaggeration, I feel like I'm setting up this way.
Oh, lovely.
Because that makes me feel I'm going to exit left, down and left. If I hold that face open to that path, if I try one, because you'll see one in reality, if you come around to the front of me, Matt, you'll probably barely even notice it. So I'm going to be there, trying to hit shots, opposed to if I was going to try and hit like a draw, I would be about there.
Yeah.
And I reckon that's one of those things, you know when students go,
I've got kind of like this.
Yeah, I've got this grip, but I've also got this grip,
yeah.
And you look and think, so they're feeling something, but I can't see any difference.
Yeah.
There, it's subtle, let's see what happens. Yeah. So look, if I hit my standard little straight to not going left iron shot ball, half the ball forward, feel like a more almost pitchy left shoulder down, average strike, if you look at that on the screen,
You'll drop off to the
it's
right.
a little drop off fade.
Beautiful.
So if we look at the numbers on that makes me feel like I can play golf for the amount I play.
Yeah.
Just aim up the left, not long, just boringly hit greens and wait for people to hopefully make mistakes. It's a dull existence, but it's the only one that makes me exist. So I'm 5 down, I'm out to win .3 and the face is 1 open. That's just that. You go and give me any speed with that and I'm happy forever.
Yeah.
So if I now do a second shot, where I'm going to try and hit...
Different setup.
Well, I'm going to try... What was the distance on that last one?
1.6 something? 1.65.
1.65, so average strike. This is my AP, it's not my AP 1.6 iron, but it's an AP 1.6 iron, very similar to mine. Which is my 5 iron. I would look to get that to 175, 170, 180 at a push if it's like the right conditions.
Yeah.
So I'm now going to try and hit a hard 6. So I'm going to go the other way now. I'm going to push the ball more into the middle, handle slightly forward, and I am going to feel a little bit of lean. So I'm going to let the natural lean happen. I'm not going to fight it at all.
Yeah.
Let the right shoulder come, and then I'm just going to hit as hard as I can. And that should be drawing in. So that's a 184 carry. Totally different, and I've drawn that just left of the line.
That's so good.
Oh man, only in here. And it's all about 30 yards shorter than it should be. So look at the difference in the shape, and if we look at the difference in the...
5 right par, what do you reckon? 4?
Yeah, I wasn't concentrating enough on it, because again my setups allow me to not have to think there. So I'm 4 down to 5 down, similar, 7 into out to 1, and then 3 close face the puff. But for me, that's triggered very much by how I'm setting up. So I'm going from a very 0-0 kind of a golfer and influencing those zeros with a bit of setup. So the disclaimer here is if you've got no face the path control, this is irrelevant.
Yeah.
This is where people, so you make this video and you guys and girls watch it and think, oh, I'm going to try that because you just drop my shoulder and all of a sudden I draw it. And people sell videos that way, like, you know, kill your slice, just drop your shoulder. It's complete dog poo. I'm coming from a very neutral standpoint. So if you're a heavy cutter, trying this might make you cut a little less. It won't get rid of the cut, but it might keep you in play. It's things that you should be experimenting with to try and hit the shape shots or get control of the shape shots that you want when you practice it. It's that trial and error. Danny boy, let's have a go with you. So thinking just shoulder tilts.
Yeah.
Don't think, and a little bit of ball position, which I think relate. Is what I've done there, is that something you would do or not? For the different shapes? Like, are you doing it without really realising you're doing it, so you've never thought about it that way, or do you think you just don't shape it that way?
I definitely move ball position further forward if I'm trying to hit a fade.
Yeah.
Definitely, so I am doing it slightly,
Yeah.
but we're talking small, tiny amounts.
Mine was like half a ball.
Yeah, half a ball when I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is. It's.
So
I would say.
Do a fade.
I would say it's more fade than the draw.
So if you set up for a fade,
Yeah.
don't hit it, just set up. Okay, and now set up for a good 10 yard draw.
Yeah.
And just go between those two. And do you feel more tilt in your shoulder?
I am.
Yeah.
Naturally starting to do it. It's
Yeah.
probably something I'm not overly aware of when I'm
That's
doing it.
100%.
But I definitely am moving. Like, just I can see my shoulders moving this way and this way.
Yeah.
Which in turn then brings the left shoulder more down when I turn this way.
Of course it does.
And then as I bring that one round, you can see it starting to just starting to drop as I come round. So it's happening.
Yeah.
It's definitely happening. It's not overly that I'm conscious of it too much.
Because a good way to always feel this, I always think, is take it to extremes. So set up now with that 6 iron.
Yeah.
You've got to start it here and bend it 40 yards, but it's got to go under a tree.
Yeah.
So just set up like you would play that shot. Because now you'll start feeling like next to no tilts.
Yeah, I'm doing this, aren't I?
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you start. So on my shot, I'm doing it intricately, moving path by 7 degrees, which is quite a lot. Normally, I'd move that by like 4 or 5. I was just trying to exaggerate the point. But you start moving path by 10 degrees, which is what these guys often need to do.
Yeah.
Feeling the extreme.
Yeah.
Suppose as if I was going to hit that low cut, you know, I'm like going like this.
Yeah.
I'm never going to set up here to hit the low cut.
Yeah,
am I?
no.
And if I want to go high right over a tree, so you do it now. High right, so I'll start up here and it's going to go high. You feel how much you're starting to lean.
Yeah, I'm down. Like I can feel it more in here and dropping that side.
And this is something I think good players do and they don't know how to articulate it because they don't even know they're doing it. It's so subtle that when someone says, this is where I always think as well, where tour pros make such bad coaches, even though the telly keeps wanting to put them in front of you and force them. You know, I've been at shoots when tour pros are having to give tips and it's painful. Because they don't know. There's a few do, but most just are like, oh, what did my coach used to tell me when I was 15, so I'm going to put the ball forward.
Sometimes it's even wrong.
Shoulder back.
Well,
yeah, because they're doers. they're doing it
just doing it all the time.
Where the best coaches have done all this.
Yes.
They're like going, how is this guy hitting a 30-yard cut from the position I'm putting him in? So I'm putting him here, but he's still hitting a 30-yard cut. Yeah. Oh, because when he turns, he does that, so he just takes it all out, and then he's still going that way, which is the equivalent to me starting like this. This is such a good way to experiment.
And I used to do a lot of that experimenting in lessons.
Yeah.
You know, as you're and the right and correctly. You know, when you're in your training with the PGA, you should be doing that.
Yeah.
You should be using your lessons as right. Just move into this position. Let's just see what it does. And that's what was going through my mind back in those.
So hit the little cut for me, because this is what's interesting. We did it with Mark, didn't we? Blackburn.
Yeah.
This is your not as reliable one, because I see you as a tilter. I see when we play, you're more of a happy tilt kind of a golfer. So this one isn't your favourite, which is why I think you didn't know to articulate it, because you don't go to this that much.
He definitely, he was saying to me to spend more time just keep focusing on the normal shot.
Yeah, and I would as well. Just draw it. It's like Monty. Why would you get him to hit a draw? And then to you, that definitely must feel. Does it feel more tilted? Is the way you start?
I feel it. I feel more pressure on the left side.
Yeah.
Right on the left leg.
Yeah.
Definitely feel my shoulder is more pointing this way, which again, like I said, in turn is dropping more this way. So I'm definitely changing my tilt on my shoulder line.
So if you're out there practicing, definitely playing with shoulder tilt will give you some ideas of how to change low points. So I feel like I'm going to get lower earlier if I tilt more this way. Tilt more this way, I feel like I'm going to get lower later. So if you hit the ground a lot, you could try playing that way. And it changes my club path. But it's a tweak. It's something that you play with and then go to your coaches and say, look, I'm trying this, is this the right idea, will this help? And they go, no, because you grip it like this and your wrist angles are like that. It'll work if you take those bits out.
Yeah.
It's that kind of trial and error. But if you're finding that you're hitting some decent shots and you just want to home in a little bit more direction, you know, I'm talking 15 yards of curvature control from a 1 yard, 2 yard fade to a 10 to 13 yard draw. These differences are enough to make it kind of, you know, change my path enough to give me that control. Let me know how it goes.